In this Path of Exiles guide, I'm going to go over my build, and the reason why is because I'm now going to be changing it because I've kind of now hit the ceiling with this build. I need to upgrade my gear. This has carried me quite far into mapping, and this is a one-button build if you want it to be. So let's jump in and I'll explain to you exactly how this works. I am going to have some gameplay, but it's going to be at the end. The reason why is because this is kind of crazy what it does. You'll see at the end of this video, and I will also go through the good parts about this build and then the not so good parts about this particular build. So let's go into the skills here, skill panel. Now there's actually a few here that you can ignore. I'll just take them out. I was just doing a little bit of testing. So we'll take these ones out. You can ignore these ones if you like. Okay, so let's go over this. Our main spam button, so one button, is going to be the Mortar cannon. The reason why is because with the Mortar cannon, we can socket in other grenades. So we can put in the cluster grenade, we can put in the oil grenade if you want, or you can put in the gas grenade. Now the oil grenade does heaps of crazy visual effects, so it won't be very good if you have not a very good computer. So you could essentially put in the gas grenade. Now with this, it gives 50% less damage because it's in the mortar cannon. However, the way this is set up, we are shooting a lot of projectiles, so the damage is actually a little bit more than what it normally would be. So we have, so in this particular skill, this is our main skill, we have payload, and what this does is it gives us a chance for it to activate again. So this is important because it gives us a chance for the grenades to activate again. And then we also have urgent totems. Urgent totems. What this does is it makes our totems go down much quicker. You're going to want to have this. You can't really run this build without this. The next thing is you can basically, if you want to, you could just spam this one skill if you want to. But what I do is I use armor piercing rounds. The reason why is because this mortar cannon gives 50% less damage from these skills. This is really good for mapping, but with bosses, one of the downsides is it's not as strong. So what I do is when I'm bossing, this is a bit of a mess here, but I do mortar cannon, I do explosive grenade. Okay, so I'm also running explosive grenade. The explosive grenade is running multi-shot, short fuse, mental here. Now the reason why I'm doing this is just to for bossing. So I run through the mapping and I do the mortar cannon, one button. When it comes to bossing, I do the mortar cannon, I do this, and then I start doing armor piercing rounds. And this is why I do this with the bosses. So the mortar cannon, the explosive grenade does the first lot of damage. I spam armor piercing rounds, which basically breaks the armor. And then I have these in here, rapid shot, this one, and this one, reforge. And then by the time I do my mortar cannon again and my explosive grenades again, the boss's armor is broken, and then it's much more damage. So that's essentially the skills. But if you wanted to, you could just run mortar cannon and explosive grenade, and that would do you fine for bosses and maps. Now let's go through the. And I'm also running Herald of Ash. You can read what this does. It's basically a damage buff. And I'm also running Time of Need, which is a health buff as well. You can just read what it does, but you probably know what it does anyway. So let's go over my gear because I am going to be changing all of this up basically right now because this build is getting a little bit weak for me, but this is what I've been running. So I have two bows. We'll explain one in a second. This is the bow. We want fire damage, more fire damage. We want grenade skills, fire, and additional projectile. This is important. This is what makes this build work. We have increased physical damage. We have more physical damage. We have fire damage. We have accuracy rating. Probably don't really need that because it's very, very low anyway. And then we've got some strength. We also have a second bow, which we'll talk about why we have a second bow soon because it's quite important. And this is basically damage as well. Pretty similar to the other one. Gives us some mana as well, etc. This is the headpiece, nothing too special here. You can just have a look at the stats. This is the armor piece. I have to upgrade all of this. I'm at quite a much higher level now. So this is the armor pieces right here. We just have I'm going for armor, okay? So you can either go for evasion, armor, singular, or you can do a hybrid of both, but I'm going just for armor. So increased armor and increased life is important as well. This is the ring that I'm using, which is just some dexterity, fire damage again, physical damage as well. We want that because that converts to fire damage on the grenades. This is the amulet that I'm running. This needs to be upgraded as well. This is the ring that I'm running. Once again, life, strength. Now, I want to actually explain one important thing with this build that's quite important. So you see how it says 8.6 life regeneration, gains 13 life per enemy killed. Well, this bow, I think, has that as well, gain 59 life per enemy killed. What that means is because we're spamming our cluster grenades and everything, we're killing so many enemies at once, our health is constantly getting pushed back up. So we're essentially using lifesteal, and we have this paired with the grenades, and I'll explain how that works. These boots are really, really good. So I get 11% increased movement speed, I got armor increase, maximum life increase, and we also get some more increases when we are affected by elements, etc. So we actually have an 80% increased chance to get affected by elemental damage, but when we get that elemental damage, we move much faster. So it's a trade-off. You can run these. If they don't work for you and you feel like you're dying too much because of the elemental damage, you can change them out. These are the gloves that I'm wearing. I definitely need to change these. Level 54 is not good. This is the belt that I'm running. Once again, armor, maximum life, strength, etc. And that's it for the gear. So now let's go into the passives, which are quite important with this build. And then what I'll do is I'll show you some gameplay, and then you can see how this all works and fits together. It's basically a one-button spam build. This is the tree, and I need to explain a few things with this tree. So when we come down here, we have projectile damage, projectile damage, projectile damage. All of our skills, grenades and bow, do projectile damage, so you can scale that, projectile damage. We have increased armor in these nodes, increased armor again, and evasion or whatever. We do have some attack speed. This actually does help as well with the grenades shooting out quicker. We have damage, we don't really need that one, and damage as well. The chain does not work on grenades, just so you know. We go over this way, we have attack speed as well. And then I'll just go over this because it's quite important. This here, we get damage to two-handed weapons, and we are using a two-handed weapon. We go down, I won't go over the nodes, these ones, because they're not really important. You just want to be doing strength. I'm basically doing strength and dexterity, and I'm going to probably have to start doing a little bit more intelligence. So you see how this is green, and you see how this one here is red. This one here is red. That's because we can basically get some extra points there. So I can go to weapon 2. So I select weapon 2, and I can put these grenade skills into weapon 2. See how it's green? If we go back here to my skills, skill panel, we can put the grenade stuff and the mortar on weapon 2. So weapon 1 or weapon 2. We put it on weapon 2, and I'll explain to you why in a second. But that's why I have 2 separate weapons here, okay? You want to make sure both of these bows have extra projectiles. And then we also go to, because it just gives you extra points. And you'll see down here as well, I've done the grenade detonation time as well in the green, because there's no point to me putting grenade stats on my bow that shoots, right? The armor piercing rounds, because we're not doing grenade stuff. So they got some movement here as well, some grenade damage and stuff here. And grenade skills have 1+ cooldown is important. This one increases the detonation time. It gives us an additional projectile must have. We go down here, I have increased bow reload speed just for the bow. So this is on weapon 1, weapon set 1, okay? So see, for example, I've got a weapon set point, I can just go like this if I want to, right? Now, we go down here is quite important. More importantly, we'll just go over here real quick, because we go along this way. We come down here, and we do totem damage, totem damage, totem damage, totem damage, and more totem life as well, resistances, so it stays alive for longer. And we go down here, so this is quite good as well. We go across here. This, you want to max this one out. Ballista immobilization build-up, which we'll talk about in a second. ballista damage, ballista immobilization setup, increased damage, this is attack speed, and then we have this here is important. Attack skills have +1 to maximum number of totems. So we have an extra totem. And then this one as well, and this one as well. Down here, we just have some grenade damage on our passives. It's not weapons, but it is on weapons still, but it's like on both weapons. Just because I probably will change that out eventually. Here we have projectile speed, and damage. Yes, projectile speed does affect the grenades. They shoot out quicker. And they work with the attack speed as well. And then here you'll see this is red. It's because I've added increased bow damage just to my bow. And what I mean by that is this is added to this skill here. Okay? This skill here, weapon 1. The reason why is because you get extra points if you do it that way. So now what I want to talk about is this. Here we go up to the Ascendants here. I have been lazy. I haven't unlocked many points, but this is important. We want to get the technician or whatever it's called, increased pin build up, increased immobilization build up, increased pin build up, and then this one here, projectile damage builds pin and pins enemies. So essentially, the enemies can't move when we spam them with our cluster grenades. It's insane. This is like the most beginner-friendly build you can have. And that's it. That's the build. I do actually have, there is a gem here, just fire, penetrates fire resistance. There's a gem you can get, a totem gem with totem damage, but it's quite expensive. So this is a budget build. You're not going to want to run that. So that's the build. That's exactly how it works. Here's some gameplay, and I'll see you guys in the next video.